That just made myself cringe. Hi guys, welcome to my Q&A video answering all of your questions. I don't really know what I'm doing. I've never done something like this before. I'm hoping that I don't ramble, so bear with me because I might. First question, do you have TikTok, Instagram, or any other platform we could follow you on? I do not have TikTok. I probably will never have TikTok. I have a lot of reasons I hate TikTok. I do have Instagram now. If you want to go follow me on Instagram. I also have Pinterest. I linked both of them in my channel description on YouTube, so you can find them really easily. What got you into cosplaying? One of my friends did, sort of. I've kind of always been into dressing up. I never really thought about cosplay. I didn't know what it really was for a long time. I kind of thought it was weird and that it was just something like the weirdos did. I didn't know really what it was until I started talking to one of my friends about cosplay and Ren fairs, and I started really wanting to get into that. And I around that time had started like looking up inspiration on Pinterest, and I found Halsey Bella's channel, and I got really into her medieval cosplays. I got very into them. That was very inspirational to me. So I'd say a combination of finding Halsey Bella's videos on Pinterest, talking to one of my friends. That's probably how I got into cosplay. Next question is, how long have you been cosplaying? I've been cosplaying for I think 2 years. When did you start posting and what was your main niche? I started posting February 21st of 2025. So it's been just over a year. My main niche was definitely cosplay, still is cosplay. Another question was, what inspired you to start making content? I would say Halsey Bella. She was the first cosplayer whose videos I ever started watching, and I still remember the feeling of like when I found her videos on Pinterest, I just kept watching like more and more of her medieval fantasy cosplays, and I remember feeling just so I don't know, entranced. It was so magical. It felt like I had stepped into another world. I don't know how else to put it. I wanted to inspire people like that. I wanted to make people feel the way that I felt when I watched her videos for the first time. Sort of like a freedom of like, I wish I could live in these videos. It was just so magical, and I wanted to be able to do that for other people, to inspire them, to give them a fantasy escapism kind of thing. And I wanted to be able to do that for people. The next question is, what books, TV shows, comics, video games, music, or movies inspire your cosplay? What movies? Lord of the Rings, in case you couldn't tell, it's my favorite movie. I also love Star Wars. Video games, Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Minecraft. Those are my favorite games. I also really like Lego Star Wars, but that's kind of secondary, and Mario Kart. What music inspires? Okay, that one is a long question. I think music is probably my main inspiration. Okay, next question, which I already sort of answered. Do you play any games? Mainly Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and Minecraft. Those are my top picks of all time. I also like Lego Star Wars, Super Mario Brothers, Mario Kart. I don't play a whole lot of video games. I've never been super into video games, but the ones that I do like, I get really into. I would love to know if you have any set stories for your characters, and if so, do you plan on writing a book about it? 100% yes. I haven't, as of yet, written anything for the characters that I currently have. I started writing back in 2020. I tend to keep my book characters and my cosplay characters separate. There is one character specifically that I really want to write a book about, and then I think Azula and Andriel. just deserve some sort of a book or a short story. So I really want, at some point, I want to write a book for them, because that would be, I feel like that would be so funny. The next question kind of leads off of that. Do any of your characters have a backstory, and if so, what are they? I think as far as the characters that you've met so far, Imelda probably has the most fleshed out backstory. I'll have like a vague idea of the character's lore, but usually I don't take the trouble to flesh it out because it's not really relevant to the videos. But Imelda has the most fleshed out lore, I think. The one audio that I used for her was like, that one's like, I'm from the Undercity. Because she grew up, you know, like on the streets kind of, and rose up to become a knight. So she has kind of a darker backstory. I think the only other one that has more backstory would probably be Lysandra. She's supposed to have been like this bubbly, happy-go-lucky, the world is wonderful kind of person who then experienced a lot of tragedies and has been through war, and like her view on life has like changed a lot, where she still tries to see the best in everything, but it's a lot more subdued now. Like she knows it's hard, she knows what people have been through now, so her view on things isn't all sunshine and rainbows, but she still sees the good in everything. What was your first OC? You My first OC ever? I have no idea. I've been making up stories as long as I can remember. Making up characters, making up stories. I've never known a time when I haven't done that. So there's thousands of OCs that I've created that are lost forever. No one will ever know them because I've forgotten them. So I don't know what my first OC was. Probably would not be worth remembering anyway. Maybe this is what you meant to begin with. My first OC I cosplayed, made for cosplaying. So I'm gonna answer it like that. Like what my first OC that I made for cosplaying. You actually haven't met her yet. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten around to cosplaying her yet. I really want to soon. It's actually it's an interesting story why I haven't, but I won't get into that if you guys aren't interested in hearing about it. So right now I'm just gonna move on to the next question. What was the first costume / prop you made? Need I say more? What advice would you give to a young cosplayer who has no idea what I'm doing when it comes to makeup? I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to makeup either. I just make stuff up as I go along. I look up inspiration on Pinterest, and then late at night when I'm alone in my room, I just try and duplicate the look. Just try stuff. Mess around. You'll learn by trying. And another piece of advice is buy cheap makeup. When I'm trying stuff out, I will go to the Dollar Tree and I'll buy a bunch of cheap makeup so that I can just waste it, and I don't have to feel bad that I'm wasting it because it cost $1. So buy cheap makeup and don't be afraid to completely ruin it. Do not use your good makeup when you're trying out cosplay looks. Buy cheap makeup for that. Most of my makeup stuff I kind of taught myself how to do. My mom taught me the basics of, like, you know, blush, mascara. One of my friends taught me how to blend eyeshadow. I learned how to do eyeliner by watching videos on Pinterest. Pinterest is your friend. When you're a cosplayer, Pinterest is your friend, okay? Where do you put your camera when you're filming in public spaces like beaches and woods? I put it on a tripod. Like it is right now. It's on a tripod right now. It's a little bit hard to find places where I can balance the tripod in the woods. The beach is pretty easy because I can just bury the feet. How do you get the confidence to film in public? I would love to know the answer to that question. I don't. The first time I ever filmed in public, I asked one of my friends to come with me and be my camera person because I was so scared. The next time I filmed in public was when I went to the beach dressed as a pirate with one of my friends. Again, I went with someone. The next time I went out in public to film, I went by myself. When I went and filmed as Valia. You ask how I have the confidence to do that. I have this thing with cosplaying in general where I actually underthink it. You know, with most things in my life, I overthink, drastically overthink. When it comes to cosplay, I drastically underthink. And you say, wouldn't that be a good thing? Sometimes, so it's not always a good thing. When it comes to making a project, I very much have the mindset of course it will work out, because it's always worked out. If something goes wrong, I can fix it. And somehow everything that's gone wrong, I've been able to fix. So it's a little bit of a broken philosophy, but it's worked so far. And I'm dreading the day when it stops working and I actually can't fix it, because I will panic. But I kind of underthink things. I wing it. I don't really plan stuff out. I just hope for the best and try things. When it comes to filming, I kind of do that too. Because I had filmed in my backyard a lot, I was confident, you know, being outside filming. But the backyard, you know, is different than the woods. So, you know, I get my cosplay on, get in the car, I go, and when I get there is really when I was like, oh crap. There's people here. They're gonna see me. They're gonna think I'm weird. But I was already there. I was already in cosplay. I already had my cool makeup. It had taken so long to get ready. I was like, well, if I don't go now, it will just be a waste. You know, I have to. I guilt tripped myself into having courage. That's not even a joke. I guilt tripped myself into going and filming that day. Another thing you can remember is people don't think you're nearly as weird as you think you are. Okay? Most of the people who are going to see you out and about are just going to be vaguely like, what's that person doing? That's interesting. Or maybe they won't care at all and they'll just be like, huh. People know cosplayers exist. It's not like you're the only person on the planet who does this. People know that cosplayers exist. And there's going to be more people who are inspired by what you're doing than there are people who are going to go, ugh, that's weird. And the people who think, oh, that's weird, aren't necessarily going to stop and tell you so. People are a lot braver when they're typing a little comment than they are when they're saying it to your face. No one's going to stop and say, you're so cringe to your face. For every person who thinks that what you're doing is weird, there's probably 2 people who are inspired by it, who think it's cool, who are envious of the fact that you had the courage to go out and do something different. You had the courage to stand apart from that crowd. If you just hype yourself up before you go out, you should be fine. And once you're out there, you kind of just get a more of a resignation about it. You're like, well, I'm here. I might as well film now that I'm here. You know, people have already stared at me. Oh well, I'm here. I just need to get it over with, and then I can go home and sleep. Do any of your costumes get dirty filming in beaches and woods? Yes. The first time that I filmed as Lysandra, you know, I'm wearing my pretty gold bodice. It's summer, you know, the sun's out, it's like 80 degrees. I'm sweating a lot. I come back inside and I take the bodice off and I had to peel it off of my back. I look in the mirror and the back of my white shirt is black because I strengthen the inner seams of my armor with air dry foam clay. Now, if you don't know anything about air dry foam clay, if you put it in water, it reactivates it, it re-moistens it. So if you're sculpting something and it's starting to dry out, you can put it in water and it will undry out. I didn't think about the fact that if you put it on the inside of your armor, it doesn't breathe. Of course you're going to sweat. And think about the fact that the sweat might also reactivate it. So after that fiasco, I've started clear coating the inside of my armor to prevent that from happening. I got like 99% of it out of the shirt. The shirt is mostly fine. There's a few spots that are discolored, but other than that, somehow the shirt survived. When I went to the beach to take pictures after that Ren Fair with my friends, I thought it would be a good idea to wade into the water. I thought it would get really cool pictures. The pictures actually didn't turn out, unfortunately, but I waded out up to my knees. My boots, needless to say, were soaked inside and out. It took me 3 days to dry them out. The bottom half of my pants were coated in sand. When I washed them, the washing machine was full of sand. That was probably the worst one. My clothes usually will get dirty because I'll like sit in the leaves and stuff, but most of the pants that I wear when I'm cosplaying, I bought specifically for cosplay, so I don't really care if I ruin them. Have you ever got thoughts of quitting or often felt a lot of discouragement? I've never had thoughts of quitting. As far as discouragement, I would say there might have been times close to the beginning that I felt like my channel is growing so slowly, like it's not any good, but my early content was not the best quality, so it's pretty understandable. I realized that the reason other channels were progressing faster than mine was probably just because they have TikTok and I don't. I kind of realized eventually that it doesn't matter. If you're enjoying what you're doing, it doesn't matter if your channel is growing or not. I saw a video one time that was like, if my video gets 5 likes, that means I made 5 people happy, and that's all the motivation that I need to keep going. I really like that because that's true. Like you don't need to have a big channel, and I'm happy with my little channel. It's really cool that it's growing. That's really amazing, but I'm also not going to be discouraged if it isn't growing. If you only get 5 likes, that's still amazing. You know, you still made 5 people happy. They still enjoyed what you did. I've definitely struggled on and off with discouragement, but there are good ways of overcoming that. I would say also, like, when I first got like a rude comment, I felt a little discouraged by it. That actually leads right into the next question. Do you know any best possible ways to avoid hate? I'm not going to sugarcoat this. If you are going into social media thinking that there is a magical formula that will make everybody love you, you should not be on social media and you are going to be miserable. That's just a fact, okay? You need to understand nothing that you do will ever make everybody happy. There will always be people out there who don't like you and don't like what you do. It is not possible to please everyone. It's just simply not. If you want to be on social media, you need to know that you're going to get hate. That's just the way it is. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't be that way, but it is. And there's nothing we can do about it. So you have to just accept that that is going to happen, and you have to grow a thicker skin. If you don't have a thick skin, if you can't do that, if every hate comment makes you feel miserable and you can't brush it off, if you can't deal with hate comments, you should not be on social media. You can't expect the people watching your content to cater to the fact that you can't handle hate. There are rude people everywhere. There's ways of dealing with it, of learning how to have a thick skin, of learning how to just not care if people leave you a hate comment. Because, first of all, there's a lot of trolls on the internet. People will insult your content just to be annoying. So I would say the first thing is just always assume that they're a troll, and don't even give them the time of day. Another thing to remember is the people doing that are just sad, miserable people who find joy in taking away other people's joy. So don't let them take away your joy. You need to remember that they're only doing that because they can't stand to see someone else who's happy. It's also important to remember that for all of the hate that you may get, you are getting more love than hate. And it's really sad that love is so easily forgotten. So it's important to remember that it's important to focus on the good things, on the love that you're receiving, on the people who are inspired by you. And all the people who subscribe to you did that for a reason. They're in some way enjoying your comments, inspired by you. So why are you letting that one comment that said your video was crappy, are you letting that drag you down? That person is a pathetic little minority who's probably just a troll. You should not be letting that rule your life. There are definitely avenues that get more hate than others, but no matter what avenue you take, you're gonna get hate. And that's really just the bottom line. On a lighter note, next question. What are Ren fairs like? Ren fairs are amazing. I don't think I can really describe what an incredible experience it is. And when you're going out just in public, I mean, I live in the city. There's always people everywhere I go. It's nerve-wracking because they're all dressed in the most basic, boring outfits. When you're going to a Ren fair, it's like you step into another world. It's the people who are wearing the basic, boring outfits, who didn't actually put on a costume. They're the ones who stick out like a sore thumb and look weird. It's nerd paradise is the best way I can put it. It's nerd paradise. It's so magical. All right, the final question. Are your eyes really gray? If you're new here and you didn't know, I recently had a video that went viral, I think because people were fighting about what color my eyes were. To the best of my knowledge, according to my personal research, my eyes are gray. If you would like to do your own research on gray eyes, you may do that. But if you don't, I would like to give you a quick rundown on that. Gray eyes come in many different shades. Okay, there is eyes that are completely colorlessly gray. And then there are eyes that are bluish gray, greenish gray. I do not have colorless gray eyes. My eyes do still have color, but they still are under the category of being gray. So depending on the lighting, depending on the color I'm wearing, my eyes will appear to be different shades. If I wear green, my eyes look more green. If I wear blue, my eyes look more blue. The outer circle of my iris, this dark blue, it's like a really washed out dark blue. So it's like a grayish blue outer circle of my iris. The very, very inner circle around my pupil is greenish gold. Okay, I know that's very weird. Between those two skinny little circles is a wider little donut, which is bluish gray. It is gray. It is a bluish gray. But because there's a dark circle of grayish blue on the outside and a light circle of greenish gold on the inside, depending on the lighting, depending on what I'm wearing, it casts this weird illusion that my eyes are green or blue. It's a very washed out color. But because they're dark, they don't look washed out. So if you'd like to do your own research on gray eyes and poke holes in all my logic, I dare you to try. But the camera, the lighting, what I'm wearing, all messes with it. So you really don't know what my eyes actually look like. If I ever get a better camera, I'll take a picture of my eyeball super close up and you'll be able to see it. But yes, my eyes are gray to the best of my knowledge and research. I hope that helps. Please stop fighting about it. I don't really know how to do an outro, but thank you for watching. That's all of your questions hopefully answered in a satisfying way. I'm not really good at this. I don't know what I'm doing. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I think I'm supposed to tell you to like and subscribe, so do that, or else.